Philip Lenczycki is the Daily Caller Foundation investigative reporter who broke the story, and Congressman Lance Gooden is pressuring the FBI to get involved. So, really nice work, Philip, with this report. How suspicious are you thinking this is?
Well, first and foremost, thank you for having me. And this is incredible. It's really hard to imagine how this came to be. If there had been any type of due diligence looking into this gentleman's background, I believe that this would have been found. So we're wondering at this point, did this come up during the vetting process? Was it overlooked, or was this never found?
Well, there was no vetting process, apparently, and that's why the FBI has to get involved. Congressman, who's overseas, so there might be a little bit of a delay here. Do you assume the FBI already knows this guy's tied to Chinese intelligence? Or do you think this is going to be news to the Bureau?
I do believe the FBI is aware, yes. I hope it's not news, and I hope the FBI is working despite what my Democratic colleagues are saying. I think it is just typical of Democrats in this town, or in Washington, rather. This is the American Democratic Party. They say you're racist if you call into question any appointments by this administration. We're standing up to communist China, and these Democrats' first reaction is to come to their defense and call us all racist. I think that Judy Chu needs to be called out, and I think that if she was an Intelligence Committee member this week, that Kevin McCarthy would be taking her off the committee.
Do you think Congresswoman Chu should be looked into?
I think everyone that's standing up for Chinese Communist parties should be looked into, yes. I question her either loyalty or competence. If she doesn't realize what's going on, then she's totally out of touch with one of her core constituencies. I think she has drug along the other Chinese American members to sign this letter, but I do think she's the ringleader, and I'm really disappointed and shocked that someone like Judy Chu would have a security clearance and be entitled to confidential intelligence briefings until this is figured out.
Philip, how widespread is Chinese influence peddling in American politics? Should people assume that if Chinese Americans are donating large sums of money to Democrats and asking to be appointed to things, that maybe that if they're involved with an organization that's suspicious, they might need a second look?
Well, I think we want to be clear that most Chinese Americans are patriotic. I've no doubt about that. And yet there are forces at work here, as you mentioned at the beginning of the segment, that the United Front Work Department is actively targeting Chinese Americans. They're working through front groups that they have either created or co-opted. And thus, we really need to be careful because they have actively targeted what we're calling subnational leaders, going after folks through donations to their campaigns and also helping just drum up support through votes. And so this is a very enticing proposition, I think, for too many politicians. And it's not just those who are of Asian extraction. We're seeing this in a lot of big cities and unfortunately in middle America as well. So this is something that Americans really need to be very cognizant of.
Yeah, and most Chinese Americans are patriotic, but most Chinese Americans aren't donating six figures to Democrats and are tied to not one, but two front groups for Chinese intelligence. Gentlemen, thank you guys very much for your expertise. We really appreciate it, and we're going to follow that story.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.